Hi, I'm John. This is my show, an American scheme where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. And that the Jackson family is a whole bunch of lying, fucking no talent, thieving scumbag losers. Fuck the Jacksons. 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 Now, this is Tito on Vladtv lying his fucking ass off. Anybody that, now that it's exposed, like, look at, there's a thing in the world that's like, well, you didn't have to see the stuff. It wasn't up to you. It wasn't your job to make the discovery, like what I've done, okay? Like, I don't put people down for not making the discovery, not really. I accept the fact that it was hard to see this lie, you know? It's hard to understand what had been done to us, especially when it took place over such a long period of time, and the fact that Michael was raised in the Jackson house, it's like, boy, that shit was covered up so good, there was no reason for us to ever look to see if it was a lie and stuff, right? But it's a lie. Here's Tito telling you the story about how everything happened. Now watch me pick this fucking story apart, because this is a stupid liar telling the story. Once you know the truth, it's easy for people, like people would look at Tito and say, oh, he's part of the Jackson family dynasty. Oh, God, he's a big star. Oh, he's got good family. Okay? I look at him and I just see a liar. He's a liar. I'm not looking at him all the good things. What does it matter? Everything about what he's telling you here is a lie. His whole fucking life has been a lie. All they ever did was steal from fucking Michael Jackson.
And he knew we loved that guitar, and so he used to say before he went to work, he put it away in the closet in the case and tell us, sit us on the couch and point his finger, don't you touch my guitar when I'm at work.
Okay, so first of all, like I was saying, if Joe would put the guitar in the case, put it in the closet, right, and give them strict orders, don't touch my guitar, there's no chance that Joe Jackson would have come home and not noticed that the guitar had been moved and that somebody had been playing with it. It's impossible. It's impossible. But here's the story he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you, oh, Joe didn't know nothing about it. Joe didn't know nothing. It's ridiculous. It's fucking, and it's so obvious that this lie has been orchestrated to cover up the fact that Michael's not part of their family, to cover up the real story of how things develop properly. This is the lie. And you can see that when you hear my story, the true story, you can see that this is the lie designed to cover up the facts of that Michael's not part of their family.
You know, so of course, you know, children, that mean you can touch my guitar while I'm at work. That's what I heard, you know, so I was playing the guitar for
Right. That's why Joe beat him, because children do shit like that. And that's why Joe instantly would have checked. He would have not given Tito a chance to keep playing his guitar. Joe would have put his guitar away, and when he came home, he would have checked and made sure it was exactly in the spot of where he left it. That's what adults do with fucking possessions that they cherish, and they don't want their stupid kids playing with it. The kid would not know that Joe was sophisticated and intelligent enough to understand of the exact position of that guitar, that Joe would have set the kid up, and Joe could have placed something there, so then when the kid touched it, Joe would have known it would have been touched. Joe would have done something. There's no possible way Joe would have allowed that guitar to sit there and not been checking on it, not have set those kids up. That's what parents do. They would set that fucking kid up. So there's no way Joe's going to be so strict telling them don't do that, and you think Joe's just going to put away and not check? He's not going to set him up and set a trap to find out for sure? Joe's not going to trust anybody? You think Joe Jackson, the kind of motherfucker who's just going to trust his kids? Oh, well, I'm just going to put the guitar in the closet and I gave them orders not to do it. They're good little kids. No. That's why you beat the fucking shit out of these stupid kids, because you're beating them, because how many times I keep telling you, kids are fucking stupid. Stupid fucking kids. They're stupid. And every adult in the world knows stupid fucking kid. You're a stupid fucking kid. There's no way Joe Jackson is not going to check to make sure that the fucking guitar is not being touched with and played with.
Many months, and my mother would let me play it. She knew I wasn't supposed to play it, but she thought I was making progress.
Okay, so Tito's saying he's playing the guitar many months. He was saying he was sneaking it out for many months. All those opportunities for Joe not to catch him. So then he says, well, Catherine knew he was doing it, okay? Well, then if Catherine knew he was doing it, why does Tito get punished when he breaks the guitar string? That's not what would happen. And you're going to tell me many, many months that Joseph is allowing Tito to play the guitar for many, many months without intervening and saying, hey, I know you've been playing my guitar, for all those months. No, it has to be the broken guitar string, because it's got to be a mystery. It's got to happen by chance. You can see the story's a lie. It went all the way to the point of where a broken guitar string. And how's he actually learning how to play the guitar? How's he actually learn how to put his fingers? When you're a kid and you're watching somebody play the guitar, you're not looking at it understanding that, that finger's pushing on this string, and this finger's back down on a string and back one, and then these two fingers over here pushing on. You don't recognize that. You don't recognize that and see, he's got his hands on these strings. You don't do it like that. You wouldn't learn how to actually play. It would be a stupid kid playing with Joseph's guitar. And Joe is not training him. This is the big other thing. It's proven, documented here, that Joe is not training them. Joe's not training any of the children. Not only is he not training the children, he's given strict orders for them not to touch his guitar, to have nothing to do with it. Joe is not training his children. He's not that kind of a guy. It's not you can see in this explanation of how it happened in the beginning of the Jacksons, you can see it's all a lie. It breaks down. None of it holds up. None of this fucking story holds up because it's a lie. Because that's what the Jacksons are, liars.
So one day I broke the string, and I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know how to change the string. I didn't know what string I broke or whatever.
Exactly. Oh, okay. He can learn how to play the guitar, but you can't learn how to change a guitar string? Do you see the difference? Oh, he could pick up a guitar and learn how to play an instrument, but a guitar string that he can't learn how to crank that knob. Didn't he ever understand about tuning the guitar? When you turn that knob, as soon as you turn that knob, instantly, when you play it changes the fucking sound. You move the fucking little key, just a little bit, it changes the sound of it. You're going to tell me he didn't understand that turning that knob loosened and tightened the guitar string? After he's been playing this guitar for so long, when you play guitar for that long, the guitar goes out of tune. Okay? He couldn't be playing the guitar that long and have the guitar stay in tune. That means that Joseph would have picked up the guitar and noticed that the guitar had a different sound from when he left it in the morning. Then when he came back, when he played it this one week, the guitar had a certain sound. He played it the next week, the guitar's got a different sound. Right there, like I'm telling you, that instantly would have shown him somebody's playing my guitar. These keys are freaking turned. It's out of tune. Who's been playing my guitar? It's not possible for Joseph not to have known he was playing the guitar. And then if he was playing it, it's not possible. He could have played for months and months and months without Joseph knowing that the guitar has now been played. It's now out of tune. Something is going on. It's impossible. So what he's showing you here is, though, Joseph was never training his children. Not until and he's telling you Joseph is playing the guitar. This is what I'm telling you. Joseph was trying to reform his band after he is given Michael. When Michael's a baby, Joseph doesn't understand. I don't think Joseph knew that Smokey and Diana were the actual parents, and Diana's just a little girl, so she's nobody, right? Smokey's the only guy, and Berry Gordy wouldn't have introduced Joe to Smokey. They don't know each other, so Joe doesn't know. He doesn't know where this kid comes from. He's just a kid. All Joseph knows is, think about reality. What would Joe know about the reality of that situation? Well, he's probably getting a little extra money, right? And if you look at the Jackson story, Joe just goes, buys them all instruments and the stuff. It's like, well, it looks like they're getting extra money somehow. There's probably something like that going on. And then Joe would not know that Michael's got any talent. Joe wouldn't know. When he got Michael, he doesn't know that the kid's got talent. So what would Joe be thinking? Joe's thinking, I've got a connection to Berry Gordy, and I'm going to make a band. He's not thinking about his children. He's not thinking about Michael, not thinking about his children, because he's never been training his children. And Joe's probably thinking the same way too. It's like in his head, he's not thinking about a child act. Oh, with all these kids, he's thinking that's an adult world with adult musicians. He's not thinking, oh, I can just get my kids, I can just train them, and Barry's just going to accept them. Barry's just going to welcome us in with open arms. We're just going to go, all these children just going to go to Motown, and Berry Gordy's going to say, welcome, welcome children, welcome to the Motown family, welcome. All these children that Berry Gordy's now got to hire a teacher and you got to give a tutor, they got to give them schooling, you got to give them special education and do all this special stuff, all these special requirements. They've got to adhere to the laws of child labor laws. That's like all the stuff of what Berry Gordy had to deal with the fact of having a band, the Jackson band. Which in reality, if the Jacksons were who they were, and Berry Gordy has no commitment to the family, there's nothing, then Berry Gordy just would have said, well, the kid's got the talent. If I want to do anything, I'll just take the kid and make the kid. Why would Berry Gordy risk bringing all of them in? And not only all of them, now you got to deal with Joe, too. It just wouldn't have, none of it. There's none of this story that makes sense. None of it. It never ever makes sense. The only way you start understanding what actually happened here is that you understand that Michael was given to the Jacksons from Berry Gordy, personally. That Michael's real parents are Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson, which Joe didn't know how big of a fucking deal when he got Michael. He didn't understand how big it was. That's why he's not doing anything. At the time, he's not training his children. He's not thinking he's not thinking that way. And the proof of this shows you. Joe's not thinking that way. Not only is he not thinking that way, he's strictly giving orders to the kids to have nothing to do with the music. Strict orders to not touch the guitar. Not touch the guitar. Tito's like 7 years old. And he's been given strict orders to not touch his guitar. Jackie, all the other... So when's this fucking thing about Joe training the children? How does that happen? Why does it happen? It definitely is not because Tito's playing the guitar secretly. Like I'm just explaining to you. That could not have happened. It's impossible that he could have been playing the guitar. It's impossible. It's impossible.
He can buy one. He came home, saw the string broke, and was really upset about it, man. He took care of my ass, and then he sat me down and put the guitar in my lap and said, show me what you know. So I'm here.
So after months and months and months of him being allowed to play the guitar by Catherine allowing it to happen, and you're going to tell me that Joe just comes home after all that time and he waits until Tito breaks, because that's you'd be like, don't be playing my guitar, you're going to break it. Now it's out of tune, I got to fucking tune it. You're fucking with my guitar, don't touch the guitar. But after months and months and months of that, letting the kid just play with the guitar, letting him do whatever he wants, up until the point where they're claiming he broke a string, and that would be the thing. There's like Joe saying, you don't play my guitar, you break a string. Don't do that, you drop it, you break it, you don't know what the fuck you do. You're gonna cost me money. And Joe ain't just got all this extra money. Where's Joe just getting all this extra money? Because he's gonna say here, Joe gives me the guitar and he goes out and buys himself a better guitar. Really? Joe's just got the money just to instantly, I'm just gonna go buy me a new guitar. A good, better one. Sure.
Yeah, I am playing this guitar and crying. I'm about like 7, 8 years old. And he looked at me and said, dang, you playing just as good as me.
You playing just as good as me? Are you fucking kidding me? Come on. Joseph Jackson's a legitimate guitar player that you people don't know. I believe Joseph Jackson could actually play the guitar. I believe he was legitimately a guitar player. Joe Jackson could play the guitar. I believe that. I believe Joe could actually play the guitar, which means there's no way in hell that Tito was on any fashion or any form playing the guitar. It still would look like just some stupid kid. He'd be lucky he couldn't play the guitar. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's so fucking not possible. It's bullshit. The whole story is bullshit. It's total fucking bullshit.
So he gave it to me. He gave me the guitar right there on the spot and bought himself another guitar, a better one, of course. But I still have that original guitar. Wow.
So he just went and bought it. Okay, I'm just going to buy a new guitar. Joe Jackson, who's working hard at the steel mill, got a family full of fucking kids, barely fucking making it. You know he's barely making it week to week and stuff, and you're just telling me instantly he's just going to be like, oh, here, Tito, go ahead. You can have my guitar. My guitar. His guitar. That's his only possession that's his in the whole house. The only thing that's his. Thing he cares about, he's playing that guitar all the time. That's the thing that's connection back to his history and all of his dreams about being a star. And then he's just going to be like, here, Tito, you can have it, after he had never been training any of his children, after he'd been given strict orders for them not to be touching the guitar. And he's just going to give it to him. Oh, here you go, Tito. It's bullshit. My story explains the lie. Michael's given to the Jacksons at that time now. Berry Gordy now has a connection. Joseph Jackson has a connection to Berry Gordy, and Joseph Jackson is not doing anything with his family. There's no vision. There's nothing. There is no vision of a Jackson 5. There is no training of the children. None of that is taking place because, like you said, it's like 3 years later before Tito's getting caught with the guitar, before we even get to that time. So up until this point, we know that Joseph is ordering his children not to learn how to play the guitar. He's not training them. He's not doing anything for his children, doing anything. He's specifically ordering them not to do it. So that's the total different father of what you would think of the Jacksons. And he trained all the kids because Joe was training them. No, he wasn't. I tell you from the beginning, it's a lie. All of it's a fucking lie. So Joe would be trying to make it. If Joe's got a guitar, he's wanting to make a band. He's thinking he's got a connection to Berry Gordy. He's thinking, I can do this. And now if I do it, I can get a contract with Berry Gordy. But he was too old. He wasn't good enough. His band wasn't good enough because they didn't have a singer. They didn't have a real singer. They weren't real, you know? He wasn't good enough and shit. So Joe doesn't get a record contract. Berry Gordy's not just handing out record deals. He's not just going to just give him a record deal. That didn't happen. So after all that Joe's trying to do it, trying to make it work, it doesn't work. After about 3 years, when Joe finally realizes that he's not going to make it, that would be the time now where he would say, I'm going to start looking at my kid. And I specifically think that Berry Gordy probably would have told him, you're too old. You're too old. We're trying to make music for the young crowd. We're going for a young, hip crowd, young scene thing. You're too old. Then that's when Joe would have said, oh, well, shit, you want young? I got a bunch of youngsters, right? And then Joe, right at that time, that's when Joe would, I think he would ask the kids, which one of you wants to learn how to play the guitar? Because he's still, like he said, he doesn't know what's going on. He's not just going to order them, okay, we're going to put a band together. Okay, Tito, you're going to play the guitar. Jermaine, you're going to play the bass. Jackie, you got no fucking talent. You go ahead and just bang on the fucking tambourine, right? Like, first, if Joseph actually was going to start a band on his own, like, and he's trying to do it, first, Jackie's the oldest. I mean, if first it would be Jackie. There would have to have been something with Jackie. If Joseph was actually going to do something with him, if he was responsible for the forming of the Jackson 5, naturally, well, Jackie would play an instrument. But Jackie don't play fucking instruments. Even to the point of where when they start to form the band, the Jackson brothers and Johnny, I think his name, Johnny Jackson, is that I think it's Johnny Jackson, the drummer. Okay, well, why isn't Jackie playing the drums? You know, there's just like, he's not training them. He's not training them to do shit. They can't do anything. And then it's like, Joe can't train them how to play the drums, right? So they get this other little kid from down the street, Johnny Jackson, I think his name was, and he's playing the drums. So why isn't Jackie playing the drums? I mean, there's just like, there's nothing, it's not real. The whole story of how it's made up, it's just not real. And you know it's not real, especially too when you see that Jackie don't do shit. Jackie bangs on the tambourine. He don't do anything. He don't do fucking shit. So now Joe, and because right at that time too, Joe's like, oh, I'm going to start training my kids. He's going to do what he can, right? Because Michael still is too young. Michael's still not showing the talents and showing that he's gifted or anything like that. And look at, Joseph hasn't been building a band with his children. It's not that he looks at his children and say they're talented and they can do it. He doesn't trust in any of them. So, but for some reason, when Michael at 5 years old shows that he's gifted and he's got a vocal ability, Joseph, being the guy he is, somehow trusts the ability of that child. This is what you people are saying. That Joseph Jackson, that strict guy, the mean fucking asshole of what he is, for some reason, he's able to trust the talent of a 5-year-old kid. A 5-year-old? Really? That's the story that you guys are selling me? The shit? That's the shit? That's what I'm saying. The public is just a bunch of shit-eating slaves because they're just feeding you shit and you guys are eating it right up. You're all a bunch of shit-eating slaves. You're a bunch of shit-eaters. That's why I keep telling you guys, you're slaves. You're shit-eating slaves. They would feed you shit and you guys will eat it up if they told you that that was the best food on the planet. That's the best food on the planet. If they're like, trust me, you got to eat your own shit because you regenerate. That if they told you that when the food goes through your bodies, it's injected with all kinds of secret chemicals and stuff like that. So then when you shit it out, that your shit is packed with the best proteins and the best stuff. And if you eat that, it's like spinach for Popeye. It'll turn you into Popeye. You don't think that you dumb slaves would start eating your own shit? You're a bunch of shit-eating slaves. That's what you are. If you believe this fucking lying Tito Jackson, and if you're not smart enough to say that whole story's bullshit, now that fucking an American scheme is explaining the actual details of the story and pointing out the flaws, if you can't see them, I break their fucking story down. And their story is all lies. It's everything about it's lies. None of it holds up. And so you guys are, the story you're trying to sell me, the story that I've got to believe, if I want to believe in the Jackson story, I got to believe that Tito was playing Joseph's guitar months and months on end, and Joe just knew nothing about it. Or Joe did know, Joe knew that Catherine was allowing it to happen, but for some reason then he still beat the shit out of Tito when breaks the string. That's not what had happened. Joe, being the father, what he would have been like, okay, you broke the string. Now you've got to take responsibility for that. You've got to go out and you got to make the money. Somehow he would have been like, now that costs money. You're going to have to do that. And then he would have been like, let's go to the guitar store. I'm going to show you how to, because this is what Joe, as an actual father, right? If Joe knew, like, let's say Joe knew that Catherine was allowing Tito to play. Let's say Joe and Catherine are like, okay, they're being parents, good parents. And Joe's like wanting to be strict, so he's not wanting to let Tito know that he's playing guitar. But let's say Joe knows with Catherine that they have they know. Okay, so why does he beat the shit out of him then? Why does he beat the shit out of him? Or what if he had said at that time, okay, I knew you were playing my guitar. I just wanted to see how far you would get on your own. I just wanted to let you do it on your own. Like, let's just say he's like being a good father and shit, right? And he's like, okay, I knew you were doing that. Okay, so then he breaks the guitar string. Well, the first thing is the guitar string has got to be replaced. Now, guitar strings aren't very expensive and stuff, right? But you've got to replace the string, and not only replace it, you've got to put that string back in tune. And it's like, I'm sure he doesn't have an electronic guitar fucking tuner. Back then, you probably would have had a little boo, boo. You'd have a little thing you blow on that you would hit a note like, hey, woo, boo. It'd be like that. That's what you would have had, unless you were doing it totally by ear. But if you wanted some kind of tool, you'd have something like that, So you got to put it back into tune and shit, right? So that would have had to have happened. So Joseph, he would have been like, okay, well, son, okay, let's go get a guitar string and let's go. This is what he would have said. Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go get a new guitar string. You're going to put that string on you're going to put that string back on the guitar. You're going to tune it, and you're going to play the guitar for me. And if you're not able to doing that, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. That's what Joe might have done, saying some shit like that. Okay, are you playing the guitar, or are you just playing with my guitar? Because that's the difference. Were you playing with it, or were you actually playing the guitar? Because that's like what a father, I'd be like, okay, well, if you're playing it, if you're actually respecting it, I'd be like, okay, well, if you're respecting it and you're actually learning how to play, then okay, I might let it slide and shit, right? But we're talking about the asshole Joe Jackson. He's not thinking this way. I'm making excuses for him and shit, right? But the reality, the guitar string's got to be replaced. So, like he says he gave Tito the guitar. It's like, and he went and bought a new one. Okay, well, he went and bought a new one. So that means he would have bought a new guitar string. So, like, where's that story? Like in the real world, Tito would be like, yeah, we went right down to the guitar shop and my dad bought a new guitar and bought a new string. He bought a new set of strings for my guitar and he went back home. He taught me how to restring the guitar. I learned how to restring it. I had to put it into tune. He never tells that story because it's not the lie that they created. They didn't have to create that part of the lie. Okay, but that would be the real story. But the real story doesn't ever happen. That's why you don't ever hear that, because this whole story is a lie. All you hear is the lies that were there, that were created to cover up what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to cover up that they're trying to tell you that the band started without knowing that Michael doesn't have anything to do with it, when the whole thing is about Michael. All of it's about Michael. If it's not all about Michael, then why do they start the band and go on the road? Why do they actually? Because the Tito stuff, like I said, yeah, Tito's doing a little thing, playing his little high school talent shows and shit, right? He ain't going out at night and doing gigs with Joe. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Joe's not doing that with them because Joe doesn't trust them. They don't have any fucking talent. But when Michael, at 5 years old, shows he can sing, now don't you think if the Jacksons, and like he said in here, he said he was saying that he was singing. He was saying earlier. I think maybe I cut that little part off. But he was saying that they would be watching their dad play the guitar, and then they'd be on the other times they'd be singing with their mom and harmonizing and doing stuff like that. Okay, well, then if they could do that already, they would have been doing it. Joe already would have done it, but he doesn't do any of that stuff until Michael shows the talent at 5, and for some reason, you're telling me that 5-year-old kid, a 5-year-old kid, Joe instantly recognizes the talent of that kid and says, we're going on the road. It's impossible. It could not have happened. But my story, if that's the kid that's given to him from Berry Gordy, and Joe's trying to figure it out how to make a band, as soon as that kid shown talent, yeah, Joe would have been like, I'm putting you to work, kid, because it's not his fucking kid. He's not looking at the kid like a kid. He's looking at that kid as a piece of merchandise that he got from Berry Gordy, and he's thinking how he can use it. It's like, how can I use this kid? It's a means to an end. Joe's just using the fucking kid. It's blatantly obvious. And like, blatantly obvious is like when you go look, out of all of those guys, okay, out of Joe Jackson, Tito Jackson, Jermaine, Jackie, even the fucked up girls with LaToya, even LaToya's fucked up ass, right? Who died first? Michael. Who's the one dead out of that family? Michael. Who's the one that was not part of the family that had real fucking mental problems with having to deal with all this shit? Michael. Who's the one who was really used and abused by Joe because he's not actually part of the family, so Joe's just using him? Michael. Why does Michael end up dead before all of these other motherfuckers? It's the same story I've been telling you about Michael's whole fucking life. He's not a Jackson. They used him. Michael was used and abused by the Jacksons, used and abused by the fucking record companies, used and abused by his fans, used and abused by the media. I wonder why the dude ends up all alone, all fucked up off his ass, so fucked up to the point where he can't have any fucking form of a normal relationship in his life, that he's gonna sit there with some fucking little fucked up kid saying, it's good to share your beds with the kid. What the fuck did that to that dude? That dude is fucked up beyond fucking repair. He's all fucked up. And he's about to be fucking a dead fuck up too. But nobody cared about what his pains was. Nobody cared about him. So he fucking tried to fix his own pains, which leaves him dead. And then the stupid fans are out here trying to say, look at me, I'm going to dance around like Michael Jackson because I'm gonna keep his legacy alive. You're keeping the lie alive of which killed Michael Jackson. You pathetic, scumbag, thieving, loser motherfuckers. You are horrible.